message you right now.
Okay, meeting is being live streamed. And
Message you right now.
okay. There's no echo on the back end for all of you, right? Okay.
There was a second ago,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Okay, perfect. We can let everybody in.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, Larry. I see you cheesing over there. How you doing, Larry? Oh, you're muted.
I've been under the weather, but
oh no.
I'm okay, But when you're under the weather and you're married, your wife gets sick too. So that's what we've been doing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we won't make you talk too much.
Oh, it's okay. I can talk. I just may cough and that's it.
Gotcha. Did you wash your face like you said you were going to?
Yes, I ran, washed my face, even brushed my teeth. I was working yesterday, so I'm exhausted. I substitute teach, and then it's homecoming yesterday, so they're like, "Can you stay for the game?" I'm like, no, but I had to. So
yeah. Oh
okay.
my goodness. Okay, well you're here. You're here with
Yay.
the family.
Yay.
So Christian, Larry is a VIP member. He's one of our very what is it called? Cherished. He's one of our cherished community members who comes almost every week.
I'm glad to know that.
Oh,
Thank
nice.
you.
Nice to meet you, Larry.
And nice to meet you too, man.
Cool. Hey, everybody. So we're just about to go ahead and get started, but we'll do some intros while we're waiting for everyone to hop in. I see some familiar faces. Hey, DJ Flassy, how's it going? Hello, hello. So if anyone would like to introduce themselves, feel free to raise your hand. Let us know where you're from, what you do, and a favorite song you're listening to. And I'll probably call on a couple of you. And feel free, if you're able, to leave your cameras on. It's a really great way to get your face known and to start meeting some folks in the music industry if you're trying to get more connected. But keep your mics off if you're not chatting. So I'm going to call on a couple of you, but if anyone wants to raise their hand and say hello to the audience, then they're welcome. But Chris, I see you. How you doing, Chris? Oh, you're muted.
I'm good. How's everybody? Good afternoon.
Good. Where are you from, and what is your favorite song that you're listening, or a song you're listening to right now?
So I'm originally from Philadelphia. I live in Harlem now. I rap, I sing, and I produce. I write. Right now, what am I bumping a lot right now? I would say right now, I'm bumping a lot of Saba photosynthesis right now. It's just a vibe. Yeah.
Oh, love Saba.
Yeah.
Nice. Christian, what are you listening to?
I'm listening to all the things I loved when I was a kid. So I listen to a lot of 90s R&B and a lot of 2000s stuff. And I always find myself, I do such a bad job sometimes keeping up with the new stuff. I try my best, but like you get so caught up with work and everything. So I go to my happy place. So Can We Talk, like Tevin Gamble, is my happy place a lot of times.
Can we talk for a minute? I love that song.
It's about to be karaoke. Everybody paid for karaoke today, actually.
You
Sorry,
have Filipinos in the building. Filipinos are always karaoke.
There's a reason why we're not talking to the microphone, because we grab it and then it become a karaoke night automatically. So
that's awesome. Hey, DJ Chase, how's it going? DJ Chase, you want to introduce yourself? What are you listening to?
What's good, Gerald? I'm DJ Chase, New York City's finest, Worldwide Sounds Records, DJ Chase Publishing LLC, and now the new DJ Chase Radio. What's good, DVD? What's going on? So if y'all want to hit me, I'm gonna put my website right there. So it's official producer, engineer, award-winning DJ and producer. So I'm there. Let's get this money, everybody.
Chase, you have such a great radio voice. Like the way that you come off and talk to everyone, you have such a great radio voice. Cool. Who else would like to introduce themselves? I see a lot of new faces in the building. Anyone want to say hello?
I'll kick it off over here, Flo.
Hey, Steven. Hey, Flo. Nice to finally meet you.
Likewise. The whole handle Stephen Flo Pacheco. Most people call me Flo. I manage talent. Flow Legacy 89 Management Group is my management company. One of my artists should be in here, Wavy Baby, and then I have another artist.
Oh, Wavy. Oh, we're playing some of Wavy's music. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here too and appreciate y'all doing that. But what am I bumping right now? So many different things, man. Shout out to Tevin Campbell too. I love the 90s music. Y'all may be familiar with her, or if y'all not familiar with her, y'all definitely familiar with her pen. It's a artist, songwriter, producer by the name of Nisha Charles. She goes by Nisha for short. So I've been bumping that Don't Say I Didn't Warn You album nonstop since it dropped in January. That's what I've been.
Nisha. We had Nisha's artist manager on a couple months ago. And
Christian. Yeah, I know him. Good guy.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, it's nice to finally meet you. We're excited to play Wavy's music later.
Likewise, Alexi.
She's gonna be the first one. We had to open with something good. So
appreciate that. That's love.
Cool. Morgan, what's good, Morgan? You want to introduce yourself?
How's everybody doing? How are you doing?
I'm good. It was so good to see you in Chicago.
I know, for real. You got to come back so we can do a proper dinner at Duck Duck Goat. Hi everybody. My name is Morgan Gold. I'm a singer, artist, producer, show curator here in Chicago. Man, that's literally just what I do, eat, sleep, and breathe. Fun fact, my fiance, 730 Skylar, she's my producer and engineer. And we run a studio called Two Queens in our basement. And it's really good to meet everybody. If anybody's from Chicago, shoot me a message. I'd love to connect with you. And I'm excited to learn about all this stuff because literally sync is what we're talking about. Sync is something that I'm really interested in learning about because I know that it's something that benefits artists way on a completely different scale than streaming. So I'm excited to be here because I got my notepad ready.
Nice. Cool. Morgan just released a project. And Morgan, if you all haven't connected with Morgan, if you're an artist, producer, anyone that's looking to connect with people, Morgan is one of the best people to know because she's just an overall great person. So cool.
Thank you.
Alan. Hello, Alan. How you doing? Welcome in.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Alan. I'm from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Shout out Skateboard P. I've been listening to really, really strange, I didn't even know he made music, but Steve from Stranger Things, he dropped an album as the title DJO, and it's this super cool 80s alternative type music. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's super dope. I can't believe he made music like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I make music. I do vocalist stuff. I produce. I self-engineer, mix and master. So I got a project I just dropped called Chrome Soul. It's kind of like a R&B neo soul vibes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to y'all and learning a lot.
Cool. Yeah, Alan, we're gonna play some of your music later today, and I know we got an interview coming up with you sometime soon. So
absolutely
we're excited. Cool. Larry, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Larry. I'm half of Brother Pathos. And you said, what do I do? Substitute teach. And what I've been bumping recently. Anybody know who Sufjan Stevens is? Sufjan Stevens.
Yeah.
No.
I've been listening to him.
Sufjan Stevens, Larry?
Sufjan.
Yeah. What kind of music?
Oh, it's like alternative folk American.
You're in your feelings when you listen to Sufjan Stevens. That's all.
Yeah. There's an album called Illinois. I've been listening to that. That one's based off of some of the lore and history of Chicago. And then there's one called Michigan, based off of the lore and history of Michigan. He was supposed to do all 50 states, but he said it's impossible. So, it's pretty cool music. Listen to Sufjan Stevens, SUJAFJ Stevens. And nice. Then I've been listening to The Count. He's a guy on Instagram, makes crazy beats. So been jamming his stuff. So yeah. That's about it.
Cool.
like the
Awesome.
count.
Larry, we're excited to play your music today too. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. And I see Don P. Is Don P still in the building? Don has been a member of our community for the last 2 years, I think, since we've been around. Don, are you still here? Hi, Don. Oh, you're muted.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm still here. I was putting my contact info in the sheet there. Hey,
Welcome
everybody.
back. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be back. I missed you guys. When I can't catch you live, I go on YouTube and watch it that way. So been making sure I catch up with everything. I'm sorry I missed you in Chicago. That's a shame.
Oh, I know there were
gotta
so
come
many
back.
people I wanted to see. I didn't even realize, Don, that you were in Chicago. I forget where everyone's located since
Yeah,
everyone
I know.
is on Zoom. But yeah, I'm so happy to see you again. We're happy to have you.
Same. So I got to hook up with my Chicago peeps. I hear more new Chicago folks in there. So you got to make sure we connect. So I'm putting my stuff in the on the contact sheet. So happy to see everybody.
Cool. All right. Anyone else want to introduce themselves really quickly before we go ahead and get started?
I'll introduce myself. My name is Wavy.
Wavy. Yo.
Good morning, everybody. It's earlier on the West Coast. That's why I'm out here. Quick introduction. My name is Wavy. I believe my manager Flo is in here, so shout out to Flo. Fun fact about me is I wrote a very popular country music song that went platinum and kind of got like a big break with songwriting. The song is called My Truck with Breland, and I co-wrote that song. So fun fact, I just write an array of music. So I love music. Wow. And yeah, we just love having fun, stuff like that. And I hope you guys enjoy the song that I got to you today. It's very movie-esque for movie and film. And then yeah, I have a new song coming out called Time. It's actually out right now. So everybody check it out. And who I'm listening to now as far as music, I'm a LA baby from Long Beach. So I'd have to say I listen to West Side Boogie. He's on my playlist right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wavy, you just dropped a huge flex with the country song. you rap, but you make country music. That's awesome.
Thank you. Hell yeah, I anything that comes to mind. I love different kind of music, so whatever kind of brightens my day. That's what we on.
That's how I know you're talented, because you listen to a lot of different types of music. That improves your ear like crazy.
Heck yeah, and thank you so much.
Nice. Cool. Well, it's nice to meet everyone. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you didn't get a chance to introduce yourselves, then go ahead and drop your name and info in the chat. And then you can also drop your information in the contact sheet. One word of advice, if you're not already doing this already, if you want to get connected with people in the music industry, use that contact sheet every single week. Every single week we have a new contact sheet go out, and it's just a great way. Like, you can go down and start adding people and then just hit them up and be like, hey, it was nice to see you on the call. I'd love to learn more about what you do. But yeah, we're really excited to get started. So I'm Alexi Rabadam. I'm the CEO and founder of Finesse Media, and we're really grateful to have you all here. We're also very excited to be welcoming in Christian Zabala, who is a music coordinator, who's also doing some music supervision on a project. So Christian, you want to say hello to everybody?
Yeah, hi everybody. Thank you for joining in today. It's first I'm really doing something like this, so I'm hella nervous seeing all the faces and all the empty boxes right now. So, but yeah, no, I'm super excited to be here, and I'm actually sort of new to I'm in LA, so I'm on West Coast time right now, and I'm kind of new to the LA area. But I don't know, Lex, I don't know if you want to break down my story now, but I'm just excited to be here.
Go for it. Why don't let's kind of jump into it. So first of all, before we do get started, one of the reasons why we're hosting this to everybody is because we noticed, as a company that really cares about independent artists, we noticed that music streaming is what a lot of people put their focus and energy on in order to try to bring in royalties from their music. But as we focus more on bringing in opportunities for marginalized and BIPOC voices, and BIPOC, queer, disabled, veteran, etc., a big focus for us as a company is to make sure that you all have opportunities that will help you bring in more revenue, which will help you stay independent or get to opportunities to be signed. So we're so happy to have Christian on, because Christian will talk a little bit about his experience and just how to get your music into film and television and some of the things he does on the back end in order to do so. So without further ado, then now, Christian, we can go into your story. Like, maybe you can tell us about how you got started, and then we can jump into more of the like practical stuff for all of the artists here.
Right. So I'm originally from Seattle. So I mentioned that I'm new to LA. I moved here at the end of 2019. So it was a very interesting time to be moving to a new place, because shortly after I moved to LA with my partner, the whole pandemic happened. So everything that I was super excited for ended up not happening right then and there. But before that, so I was born and raised in Seattle, and Seattle, known for the rock, grunge, and everything. I mean, I guess if you think of the hip hop world, you got Macklemore and Sir Mix-a-Lot and everything, but the music scene's a little different over there. There is a music scene, but I was DJing there during my high school, college days, and eventually, when it came time for me to, go to college and try to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? The big question, and especially coming from a Filipino family, it's like music's not really a career, and so I was definitely challenged with figuring out, okay, what am I going to do? What's something I could realistically do that works for me? And I found out through a cousin of mine about music supervision. This is probably 12 or 13. When I first heard about actually the position of music supervising. So I was like, okay, that's interesting, read about it. There's not social media at the time was very different, obviously, than it is now. And the information, there wasn't a lot. And so I tried to do as much research. And to me, it just sounded like, oh, it sounds like you're DJing for film and television. And so that sounds fun. And so I looked into a little bit more, looked into who were the big players. And my cousin was working over at this place called Play Network. Play Network is now Mood Media. So I don't know if all of you are familiar with that, but basically they do overhead retail music. So whenever you walk into Starbucks, Nike, Adidas, Gap, Banana Republic, things like that, the music you hear overhead is being chosen and curated by somebody. In this case, it was this company. And so that company was based out of, Redmond, Washington, which is right next to Seattle. And I thought to myself, oh, okay, that could be it. Because I didn't think to myself, oh, I can go to this. I didn't think about moving. I was very close with my family and friends. I didn't want to move away from my community and my tribe. So I was like, oh, I don't want to move away. I want to sort of stay here. And so I graduated college. I worked in healthcare. And then eventually, through my DJing and just time, I was able to get interviewed at Play Network, which is now Mood Media. And I didn't get the job at first, so I just waited until another opening came back around. I think it was another year in between, and then eventually I was able to get into the company. I worked there for 4 years, so I was curating more of the mom and pop level stores. So your local brewery, local restaurants. I was doing a lot of that. But I was also helping out towards the end of my time there. I was working on Starbucks. I was doing stuff for Finish Line and Adidas and whatnot. So Alaska Airlines. So if any of you guys fly Alaska Airlines and you guys heard music, that was me between 2017.
You were the DJ, Christian.
I was. And it was funny because one time this was after I had left. So there was a space between, obviously, when I left Play Network. And I was flying to LA, and I remember I was hearing music at the terminal, and it was the internet, and it was Girl, and it was playing at night, because I had set it up to where they had a day playlist, an afternoon playlist, and a night playlist. And so that's how I playlisted their stuff. So I remember at night they're playing Girl. I was like, damn, this is who did this? And I was like, oh shit, I did that. So much time had passed. I was like, oh wait, I programmed this, because I thought that I'd left already. So I thought that they had already, whoever was replaced me had already switched that up, but they kept that stuff in. So that was kind of a fun little moment. But anyways, yeah. So I was there for 4 years. I got to a point where I said, okay, I know what the finish line looks like at this company. I sort of want to try something more. I want to get more into the film and TV. So my partner after she had taken some time off work, she's like, hey, I want to work somewhere else outside of Seattle. And that was the first time it became like a real conversation of, okay, where are we going to go? We both said, okay, like LA seems to be, you know, it's close enough to home. She wanted to do New York. So, but I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to move that far away. And, you know, she has her family as well. So we're like, okay, maybe let's try LA first. So she eventually got an events job in LA. And as funny, I remember the day it happened. I walked home from work, normal day. It was a Friday. She goes, I got the job. And I guess I just said, okay, I guess we're moving. So on Monday, I put my 2 weeks in. I had nothing lined up. And I just said, okay, we're just going to figure this out. So so 2 weeks later, after that happened, literally at the end of my 2 weeks at Play Network, I think I had like 1 week in between. We drove to LA, and funny enough, we didn't even have an apartment lined up yet. It wasn't until like our drive to San Francisco that we finally got approved for the apartment we were looking for. So we left Seattle not knowing where we were going to live.
What?
And so we had a truck. Yeah, we had a truck full of stuff because it just like because her start date had to be quick. That they were like, hey, look, we can hire you, but you need to start at the end of, you know, September. I think it was September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you need to start in September. So we were just like, all right, we're just going to do it. Like we're old enough, you know, we have money in our savings, like, thank God. And so we can make this decision. So we did it together. And so it was a good trip. And it was worth it. And we got here. I was trying to thankfully I had like my finances in order where I was like, okay, I can't, like, if I don't have work for a few months, I can get by, but anything more than that, I'm going to start, it's going to be a problem. So, anyways, I only literally had a few connections out here in LA. I didn't have a lot. And the few people that I reached out to and did meet with me, they were like, hey, yeah, we'll introduce you to some people. So it's one of those things where I just kind of got in, they introduced me to other people, and I just did informational interviews for about a good 3 months or so. And I was just trying to just say, hey, you know, I'm here. And unfortunately, because I'm coming from Seattle, a totally different form of music supervision, it was just one of those things where I was kind of starting over. And that was hard. That was also a hard pill to swallow for me, starting from scratch in somewhere completely new. You know, I didn't have my friends and everything like that. So, so basically just starting over, made some connections. Eventually, I started taking interviews in 2020. And then I got hired at Universal Music Publishing Group. And I was very lucky. I worked in the film and TV department doing clearance over there. And I got hired a week before the pandemic. And then on the 4th day of my job was when the world shut down. So Thursday comes and I'm just like, what is going on? And they're like, you guys are all going home. It's probably only going to be 2 weeks or a month, which was a total lie, as we all know. And I remember being at the local grocery store, like at Ralph's, and I was just so overwhelmed because I just didn't know it was like the apocalypse was happening, and everybody probably felt this, right? And I just remember sitting there with my cart, and I was like thinking about work and how I was like, I'm so underqualified for this job right now, and like my girlfriend's like, hey, get in the game. Do you see all these people grabbing food? We need to be doing that too. And I was like, oh right, yeah, this is all happening too. So it's so it was a funny
grab
funny time.
The toilet paper.
Hell yeah, that's what it was. Oh man, it was. So it was crazy. And so I pretty much learned the job from home, and it was tough because I didn't do clearance before. Like that whole. Like, I kid you not, I remember Tuesday, like I started Monday, so like Tuesday, I was like, I don't even think I know how to do my job. I can't do any of this stuff. This is stuff I've read about, but I don't know how to do all this. So it was a crazy, overwhelming feeling. But I, got it down, and I was there for a year. And the reason why I left was because a music supervisor by the name of Justine von Winterfeld from Format, she was somebody that I was lucky enough to meet when I was doing informational interviews. So she had remembered me. Thankfully, thank God, I made an impression on her. So I guess she kept me on a short list, was her story. And she said that once something opened up, she reached out, and that was it. So she said, hey, like, I'm sure you have a cool job. It's been a year, but do you want to interview? And I said, okay, yeah, hell yeah. Like, I definitely want to, because I had known about Format for a very, very long time. Because and I mean, I can go into this later, but like, Dave Jordan and all the Marvel stuff, I had known about them for a while. So they were kind of on my list of places I was like, oh, if I got to work somewhere, this is where I want to be. So she remembered me, she interviewed me, and then thankfully I got the job, and I've been there for the last year and a half now. So it's been a wild couple of years in LA, I'll say that. And
yeah.
a lot has happened. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what did she say what it was about you that made her reach out? Like why you had made such a good impression on her?
Yeah. So I'm gonna so let me kind of go back to the beginning really quick. So this is one of those things where sometimes like the stars align, I don't know, you manifest these things and it's like the energy you put out there. But so back when I learned about music supervision, Dave Jordan, who was the owner, the founder of Format, he did all the Marvel movies. I was a comic book geek. I loved X-Men growing up, all that stuff. So I totally was like, oh, if I was gonna work on a movie, I'd want to work on something that's like that, like the whole comic book world. And heard about him. And also didn't realize like he had done like American Pie 2, American Pie, like Harold and Kumar, like all these movies that when I was a kid growing up on, I remember those soundtracks to this day. And I still watch those movies sometimes just for fun, just to like have that nostalgia. And so that's how I learned about Format. And funny enough, when I got to college, a friend of mine named Rosalie, who connected you and I, Lexi, she was in the Filipino club there. And she goes, "You remind me of my cousin back home." And I'm just like, oh, okay. And he's like, he DJs too. Do you want to meet him? And of course, you're just like, yeah, sure, whatever that means. And so met him, found out his name is Cheap Shot, and he's like the DJ for like Styles of Beyond, Fort Minor. He's done some real stuff. And then he was really good friends with Dave Jordan. And so this is 2014 now. Like this is years before I'm moving even and thinking about going to LA. So I just stayed friends with him over the years, and he was the one who introduced me to Justine. And so when I got the informational interview with Justine, which brings us to your question, the reason why she remembered me, I think, was because I guess it's not a bad thing, but I over prepared for the informational interview. That's to put it plain and simple. I came in there, I arrived early, met her at this coffee shop. I had a notebook and I had a bunch of questions ready to ask her. And to me, that's just normal. Like, I'm like, if somebody's giving me their time, like, especially in an informational interview, I want to take it seriously. And so I done my research, obviously in the company. I'd known about the company, but I still did research. I researched the things that she had done and all that. And I guess when I just kind of had a conversation just like this and just saying like, hey, I know you worked on this, what was this like? She had worked on Trolls. I was like, did you meet Justin Timberlake? You know what I mean? I like just, doing stuff like that. And I guess by the end of it, she had told me, she was like, I was so amazed by impressed by how much you had prepared for that interview. And she goes, to be honest, when I meet with people, especially people who are trying to get in, who are trying to get in as coordinators or whatnot, a lot of times I've taken some, and they have no idea what we do. They have no idea what I've done, what my work has done. They have no idea what the company has done. They're just saying music supervising sounds like a really cool job, and then it ends there. They didn't know composers. They didn't know other music supervisors in the game. They didn't even know like what projects they were working on. And she was like, but you came in and you knew everything that we were doing. You had asked all these deep questions, and to me, that was just whatever. I was just researching. Like I just took it. That's all. That's it. Like you research before you meet somebody. You try to get an idea of what they do, and then be personable, right? Just be easy to have a conversation with, and that's so that left an impression on her, and I was very thankful for that. So she remembered me a year later, and now she's my boss.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. That's awesome, especially since that was that was prior to you even thinking about working at Format, and she had just reached out because you had made such a big impression. Which I think for everyone here, that is also a really great lesson. Is Ariana said it in the chat, always do your research, because even for myself as someone who recruits and hires people as well, a lot of times you hire someone, or as you're going through a recruiting process, majority of people, I mean, Christian, you were on the opposite end, but you were one of the people who went above and beyond. But truthfully, that's something that people should be doing already, is like they should be doing their research. And it kind of goes along the lines of like, if you're an artist too, and you want to work with a specific music supervisor, don't just send your music without knowing what kinds of projects they're working on, without having any idea of who they are. Are they even responsible for putting the music into the film or into the television show? If they only listen to, or if they only work with, like a specific demographic, don't be sending your music to them. If they only, if they're, say, a BIPOC music supervisor and they only want a woman of color to submit their music for a project, don't submit something that's totally different for it. But I think that kind of brings me to my next question, Christian. So if you could give some folks, I know you're working on a project right now. If you could give some folks some advice in terms of like what it is that you typically look for when you're looking for music, what are some things that you would suggest to folks, especially because you have experience with like metadata, you have experience with like working on split or understanding split sheets and clearance. Like what's some advice that you would give?
Some really basic stuff that I feel like goes a long way, even though a lot of you, especially who've been trying to do this for a while, or if you're new to it, you probably read these things, but yeah, like have like you're saying metadata, and I was like, oh my God, please like have your metadata in your files when you send it to us. Have splits like situated. Oh my God, like it is such a nightmare for us when we find a good song and like that stuff isn't situated. We've had situations. I'm currently in a situation right now where we're still trying to resolve splits on a song. And we're just like, oh my God, can we just make this go away? It's like one of our worst nightmares working in this. So like, yeah, having the business side of things like situated is, especially when you're gonna pitch something, is huge. Like you're having your metadata, being able to clear it, having, if you have people that need to give their approval as well. Like let's say you're an artist, but the producer needs to sign off on it and everything. Like having all those communication, all those things set is so key. I'll also say on the musical side, what I will say is so songs, I've noticed more and more that if the song is dynamic, just in general, if your song, builds and drops and builds again, has this ebb and flow, that really is a big thing for us, because and this is like the hard thing, because with hip hop, I'm a huge fan of hip hop. I make hip hop beats myself. But the thing is, like, a lot of times they end up not choosing hip hop because it's just this static straight line. You know what I mean? And I know that's the sound of the genre. Like you can't get away from that. You know what I mean? And I mean, we like that, right? We like when the 808's banging and it's just like the same loop over and over. But I've noticed when we, a lot of times I feel like that's why hip hop sometimes doesn't get used as much as it could be, is because it's just static. It needs to move. And I know there's probably people in here that have said like, oh yeah, this, I'm sure this rap song that I have would work in this scene, but like you put it to picture and you realize like, dude, like the scene is moving so fast, but the song is like this. The song needs to move. And that's huge. And that's why, like think about like why you think Kendrick Lamar's songs are always getting used. You know what I mean? Why you think Vince Staples' songs getting used? When Vince Staples did, what is it? The one with Big Fish. What's that? I can't remember that album. It's the one with Big Fish and oh my gosh, hold on, let me look it up real quick. I'm sure somebody knows exactly what I'm talking about. Big Fish Theory.
Big Fish Theory.
Yeah, Big Fish Theory. Like for instance, listen to Big Fish Theory. That album has gotten so many placements because that album moves. That album is all over the place. Like it's not just, for all my producer heads, it's not just like 140 BPM the whole way. Like, or I mean, just like this steady 140. It goes up and down and it's all over the place. So, and that's what we love, and why you also hear a lot of 90s hip hop too sometimes, because that stuff moves, like the bass line and everything like that. Like Eric B and Rakim's "Don't Sweat the Technique." Like that song is like gold because of how it moves. And so when you think about stuff like just music in general and that moves, that's the kind of stuff that we like and what tends to get used. And that's just my opinion in a sense. That's what I've noticed. And when we're getting requests from our editors and showrunners, one of the popular hip hop songs that we get too is "Sabotage" by Beastie Boys. And I know that's like that's fusing in the rock world, but it's like, why? Like listen to the opening. It's like it's like, oh, okay, we're ready to box, we're ready to go. And so if you have music that gets you going, that gets you moving, like a lot of those times, those songs get used quite a bit. And then there's stuff on the flip side, right? There's the slower stuff. There's the stuff that's like, for like the sentimental, the somber, the reflective, melancholic scenes. And, there's music, of course, that calls for that. But I've just noticed that when, more so when we're looking for stuff, especially in like Marvel, like they're always looking for stuff that's moving. Definitely things that are moving. Like I wish I could put, like so any of the rap, like big rapper stuff that's in there today, but sometimes it's just like, it's just too static. It's not moving enough. And so I would say, like, for me, a great thing to think about when you're creating is, if you're wanting to write for sync, I don't want to take away from anybody's artistry, but if you're thinking like, oh, I want this stuff to go in a movie, like, make your song move. And I don't necessarily mean like move like dance, but just like have its build, have its section it out. Don't just like click, copy and paste the whole entire your section, and then it just doesn't move. So
Christian,
yeah,
I feel like
I'm talking producer language.
That's actually a really great point that we don't hear that a lot from too many music supervisors, but I think part of it is because you come from a DJ background. So you have a really good ear for like what moves a crowd and what doesn't. You're a DJ. Well, do you still DJ? You DJ a little bit, right?
A little bit. I mean, I haven't like, okay, let me just be very clear. I mean, I DJ'd, but I wasn't like doing crazy club DJs. I wasn't getting booked for shows. I did stuff here and there. I did wedding DJs a lot. I did clubs back home, but I wasn't like doing it steady. It was kind of just like, oh, okay, I feel like doing it this weekend. Yeah, sure. But it wasn't like, so I don't want to disrespect those who are like DJs on who are probably grinding and doing it like legit every night, doing like late nights and, all those after hour stuff. Like, God, y'all are amazing. I wasn't doing it like that. I was like, oh my God, like once midnight came, I was like, somebody pay me so I can go home and like sleep and like watch Netflix or something. So that was more me. But yes, I did DJ. I did. So I mean, I have a lot of respect for that, for the art. So I don't want to, mislead anybody. But
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that's still a really good point that you made about like how music how you can prepare for sync on the creative aspect, because I think we do a lot of these music sync events, and a lot of it is focused on the business side, which can be really helpful, but I really like that you spoke about the creative side too. What about on the business side, going back to the business side, like I think some folks aren't even really sure how to gather all of the assets and things that they need for the business side. So like when you're looking to clear music, what are some of the things that people should be like gathering right off the bat?
Definitely be signed up to a PRO. You definitely have to have a PRO set up. If you have like, you have like your publishing and your master set. Because like you're able to do stuff too, like completely independent. It's just a little bit more of a process. But to be honest, a lot of the people that we deal with are usually like either represented by like a library, a publisher, and these don't have to be big. I'm not even talking about your huge like Warner, Sony type publishers. I'm just saying like there's a lot of indie publishers. There's a lot of places that you can pitch your music to. And what's great about going to like, especially like the smaller ones, is like they have connections to like people like like me and the big music supervisors. So having your music set up where, like I said, like having your PRO. So if you're ASCAP, BMI, or whoever's representing you for your performance rights, like definitely have that set up. And then having your, like I said, having your publisher or having your master situation. Sometimes like the master can be handled by you alone. It's just more, like I said, more paperwork. You might have to have some lawyers involved just to make sure all your stuff is straight. But basically like our main goal is just to make sure that if we hear the song and we like it, it can be cleared. Like that's it. That's all we need. We're not going to try to be like, well, does it have to be, does it have to be like a certain style or thing like that? It's just, no, we just want it to be able to be cleared. Because I mean, I get all kinds of music and for all sorts of situations. I've cleared songs that are just for like a jazz lounge, and it's just somebody playing piano. I'm like, okay, this is great. Can I clear it? And so that's like, it just needs to be clearable. And the faster, the better. You'll hear this by any music supervisor, anybody working on sync. Like, just make sure it's clearable and that there's no. And if you're a sample person, like, make sure your sample's cleared. Make sure you've gone through. Don't pitch the stuff that has samples in there that are not cleared. I mean, if you have royalty-free loops in there, that's different. It's more of like, if you're sampling like a James Brown drum break and you didn't clear it and you pitched it to us, like we don't have time sometimes to like catch those things. So if that happens and you give us something that's not clearable, you for sure will not hear from us again. Like we're not going to be talking to you because we just like, we don't have time for that. And it's like, it's like have your bit. So if you're a sample person, then make sure that stuff is clear before you pitch it to anybody, because it's like a one-way ticket to not getting business if you pitch that and they like it. and then you find out, oh, this is actually not cleared. It's going to cost an extra however many thousands of dollars to do it. So just making sure your stuff is clearable. I mean, it's definitely that's definitely like the most key thing for us.
If they do have a sample, how should they go about clearing it before reaching out to a music supervisor with their music?
Well, it's kind of a little deeper process because I haven't had to do it myself, but a lot of times you have to talk to the rights owners of the song, and that's a whole other thing. Like that might take time, obviously, because if you're if you're smaller and like not known, they might, it might be like, okay, take a number, we'll get to you when we can, kind of thing. And sometimes, and then, or if you're like, that's why sometimes if you're with a publisher or somebody that represents your music, sometimes they might have those connects and they can move those things along. But yeah, clearances are expensive. That's how that's it's tough. So if you can, I mean, that's why too, for those of you who are like work in the sample world, and I mean, I'm kind of digging deep here, but if you got like, there's people who do sample packs and drum packs, and they do that stuff where it's like the clearance is fast and it's just as good. And you're helping independent creators. You know what I mean? People who don't get the same. So for those of you who know I'm talking about, like if you go on like the Drum Broker, for instance, that's like a website that's famous for doing like Frank Dukes and all these big, people who work behind the scenes. If you go on something like that and sample their stuff, like they have a easy clearance process. So then, and like their stuff is amazing. I mean, it's just as good as, as working on another record or taking it from like a big record. You know what I mean? It's like, why give a big artist potentially thousands of dollars when you can give somebody who's doing it in their bedroom and who could use that money for rent, or like could actually their careers could escalate, and people's careers have escalated because of like that grind. But anyhow, I'm going on a tangent here, but yeah, just make sure your stuff is clearable. I mean, honestly, and I know somebody had said like, oh, which PRO do you go through? Go through any of them. Don't even worry about like everybody. All the big writers are all around. Like I've seen SoCan, I've seen GMR. So it's like just sign up to one. Make sure your work is registered and that it's you're able to collect through there, because that's definitely a requirement.
Nice. Yeah, those are all really helpful tips. I hope, is everybody taking notes? I'm going to go on gallery view for a quick second, make sure, everyone throw a thumbs up if you're taking notes. All right, good, cool. I'm going to go back to speaker view. So this is like a classroom every weekend. But let's see. Okay, so it's almost 12:45. I want to give people a chance to I want to open up the floor to answer some questions from the audience if folks have any. So if you do have a question, go ahead and just raise your hand and I'll call on you. You can ask it. And we'll ask some questions for maybe like 10-15 minutes or so before jumping into the listening session. Remember to keep it general enough so that it's not like you're asking, okay, well, what if I have this one song that I did with this one engineer and I had him sample a song off of this playlist or this pack or something, keep it general enough for the audience. So if anyone has a question, feel free to just raise their hand and I'll go ahead and call on you. Anyone have any questions? Actually, I'm going to go back to gallery view so I can see all of you. Riza, I saw your hand first. Go for it.
I've seen this question pop up a few times, I guess. I don't think I've ever really heard an answer from like a music supervisor or coordinator, especially regarding hip hop, because I know a lot of people typically either lease their beats and stuff like that. So I have a question as to how you feel about that. Even if somebody were to have purchased the exclusive rights to that, but somebody prior to that might have got a lease to that beat, so it's still kind of out there because they don't have to take it down. So how do you feel about working with those type of situations?
So, okay, I just want to clarify. You're asking like if you pitched lease beats, or
like, for example, let's just say artists had purchased like, like Go and BeatStars, for example, they got the unlimited lease or something like that. And then maybe in the future bought the exclusive to that, but regardless, it was a leased beat to begin with, but they got, the rights between them and the producers splits and they got the okay to pitch that. How do you guys feel about working with that? Because there's potential that another artist somewhere has a song to that beat, even if you did end up buying the exclusive rights to that, that still would be out there.
Okay, I'll tell you right off the bat, I can tell why nobody wants to answer this question, because even I'm sitting here like, ooh, that's a sticky situation. Because this goes back to square one, which is like make sure your stuff is clear, because now you're already running into a situation where it's like, is this clear? Because between you and the artist, you know what I mean? So I would think, okay, so I'm going to put my producer hat on for a second. I'm not going to put the music, I'm taking the music supervisor side out of this completely. First of all, I probably would get the exclusive rights to that first before even pitching it. I shouldn't even be pitching a song that's used off lease beats to a music supervisor, because guess what's going to happen? The music supervisor is going to be like, all right, music got in, this is great, time to paper this deal. You paper the deal, you come and find out like the person doesn't own it. Then all of a sudden, that comes back to us, our clearance. So like, sometimes I clear a song, we have other people, we have teams that do clearance as well. And so sometimes they'll go on our behalf and clear the stuff, and they'll come back to us and say, hey, we just got a song and it's a lease beat, like the artist doesn't even really own this. When we hear that, we will probably say, okay, you know what? If this can't get sorted out, we're changing it. That's it. Simple as that. Like I'm only speaking in my experience of what I would probably do, but that's why I would say as a producer, it's probably best to like get the exclusivity. If the artist is really getting stuff off this, you guys should have an understanding of like, hey, this is your song. I'm not giving this to anybody else. This beat's not being given to anybody else. Like, so have that already set. Like treat that like as if it's a release song. So take out the lease part of it as much as you can, because that's where it gets real sticky. And I think that's my best piece of advice, is just have that become the song and be like, okay, I'm taking this off, BeatStars or wherever you're doing it. I'm taking off that. This is yours. Go ahead and pitch the song. It's we're split 50-50 or however whatever your guys' agreement is on that. Have that set and then pitch that. I think that's like the best idea. But if you're pitching songs that are leased beats, that just basically means they don't own it. And so we can't really deal with people who don't own their stuff. It's just too sticky. And we don't want to deal with future litigation where people come out the woodwork, which has happened, and they're like, hey, wasn't credited on this. And I was like, this is mine. And they have the proof, they have the receipts. Then we're like, great, now the studio's mad at us and our jobs are now on the line. Now they're like, don't hire. The music supervision world is very small. Mm-hmm. So word gets around very quick when things like that happen. And they're like, oh, Christian Zabala had to have that? Oh yeah, don't hire him because he definitely had a situation happen on my project. And I don't want you should, as your friend, director friend, you shouldn't hire him. That stuff happens. So that's why like we're very specific, we're very particular about how all that works. So anyways, long answer, but I would just say like make sure that stuff is exclusive. It's their song, it's your guys' split. Don't pitch lease beats, please. Yeah, hopefully that helps.
Is that helpful for everyone? Because I know a lot of you do use lease beats. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I was definitely diving into that world and recognize that I probably have the exclusive rights to all mine. So even like the catalog I do have, like with the team that I do work with, they only have the ones that I have the exclusive rights to while I'm working out like other stuff. So I did want to ask that just out of curiosities. I've never heard an answer before. So thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I should say, like, don't take my stuff as like law here. I mean, I'm not a paralegal or lawyer at all.
Everyone's gonna be like, I'm never ever using lease beats ever again.
Yeah. I'm gonna have everybody coming out for me like, well, Christian told me this, and I'm just like, hold up.
Oops.
I'm just telling you what I would have done, but anyway, yeah. So I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's definitely, because I know that world. I understand the lease beat world and all that stuff. I would just say, man, dude, just be safe. Like, don't pitch lease beats. Like, have the exclusive beat with the artist. Like, make sure that that's solidified. You're not giving that to other people because it does get really sticky really quick.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that. Brian, you are up.
Check 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Hey, great information, man. I've been trying to get into sync with my music for a couple of years now. And so I'm just trying to pick your brain on how important is it to have like those stinger endings, those 30-second clips, those 15-second clips, the stems. Am I supposed to send the stems over? Like, can you give me some information about this? Because I haven't figured out how to get into a library. I don't know if it's better to do a non-exclusive library versus an exclusive library. And the information on the internet is just too much to handle right now. So I'm just trying to pick your brain. I need some help.
Well, like, okay, so hold on. There's a few things I was hearing there. So let's break it down. So you are trying to figure out how to like, so the first part you're talking about was like stems and stings and all that stuff. Were you just talking about like creating that music, or what specifically about that part of it was that you're trying to figure out?
Yeah, because I purchased classes, and the classes are saying you want to have a 15-second instrumental, or you might want to have a 30-second instrumental. It's got to have a stinger in it. It's got to have you might want to have a 1-minute instrumental with some vocals. You might want to have a 1-minute instrumental with just ad-libs only. You know, I'm like, how much work do I really need to send over to a supervisor to even get selected, or after I get selected, or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so I saw Amanda answer this. Yeah, that sounds like very promo and ad world based, because for me, plain and simple, if the song is good, the song's good. Like, I'm not gonna trip about 15, like, you know, an 8-bar intro or an outro. I'm just like, I kid you not, when people send me music, I'll listen to it for a minute, and then I'm skimming that song. I'm skimming the hell out of that song to make sure that it moves and that it works with the scene that I'm using. But I don't really worry too much about that. I think that's more in the trailer promo, like ad world. Whereas for us, our main goal is just, okay, does it work with the scene? And I kid you not, like, I'll be right here in this seat I'm in right now, and I'll have 2 windows up. I'll have the song that was sent and the picture of the scene. And I'm trying to sync it together. And it's funny because I'm like, it's such a whack way of doing it, because I'm like, I wish I had like the music editor setup that you probably all see. And it's just like, but I'm just trying to sync it together. I'm like, does this work? You know what I mean? Do these 2 scenes work? And that's it. I'm not looking necessarily for a long intro or a big crescendo ending. I'm just looking for, does it work? And that's all it is for me. It's just kind of like when you're DJing. It's just like, okay, does this song make the people move? Is this going to work for this moment? I'm not really worrying too much about some of those, you know, minor, small things. I think in the trailer world, like, that's a different story.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Brian, you had a couple of questions in there, but I think to clarify, the first part of the question is for film and television sync. It's just about, you know, creating good music that is clearable. And I think in ads, and this is something that we spoke on, I don't know if all of you, or if some of you were on our sync event that we had a couple weeks back, but for the advertising world, they do sometimes ask that you send all of those. But I think for film and television, especially, you're just going to want to have a good clearable song. And good is subjective. So, you know, you might have a song that to you sounds yeah, it might sound really good to you, but it might not sound really good to someone else. So, I mean, I'm sure some of you have watched some shows or television or, you know, movies, and you're like, that song sucked. Why did they put that in the movie? But, you know, it happens. So
that happens even with our own stuff when we're working on it. Yeah.
Yep.
No, that happens with us too.
Well, because sometimes it's the budget too. So like, everybody keep that in mind too. You know, some of these movies, television shows, and even in the advertising space, they don't have a huge budget. So sometimes they just want music that sounds like, I don't know, they think it sounds like X, Y, and Z, but it doesn't actually sound like X, Y, and Z. It's just like a wannabe cover of X, Y, and Z. But anyway, hopefully that's helpful.
We definitely, to your point. No, to your point, like, we've definitely had, like, Kendra, just really, really quick, we definitely had situations where even the music that we're putting on our own projects, like, we don't like either. Because of certain constraints, because we're also fulfillment. We're dealing with the showrunner and the director's vision. And sometimes we're like, this is really dated, man. Like, can we use something else? I'm like, no, this is what I listen to.
This is great.
Just like, and you got to put your ego aside. Ego's got to be checked at the door. Like, all right, that's what you want. Let's go and find it. And, you know, and sometimes we watch it back and we're like, we just cringe. It does happen. It does happen.
Yeah. But Brian, hopefully that was helpful. Lottie, I'm going to go ahead and give you an opportunity to ask your question. You're muted, by the way. Lottie, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find the mouse because it's like really bright. I'm in a Starbucks and I couldn't see it. But hi, Christian, thank you so much for being here. Sorry
thank you.
for the background noise in advance. I was here for a meeting earlier, but essentially what I wanted to ask was your opinion or advice on independent artists signing exclusive agreements for sync. So I'm managing this artist right now and we're in talks with a couple of different like distributors and like sync houses that have like a really great like history in terms of like syncing songs. So we're just kind of like, you know, negotiating and like seeing like who might be the right fit. But I'm always like wary about signing anything exclusive. I personally never did, but like it could work for him just fine. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on that.
That's tough. So the exclusivity, like, can you give me an idea of how long the exclusivity is for?
So it varies. Like for some of them, it's a year, some of them 18 months, some of them 24. And obviously it's like different like splits across the board. Yeah. And like part of me, it's like, oh, maybe we should like maybe wait and like kind of feel them out more. But I just like I don't, you know, I'm just trying to figure out like if it's even like a good idea to go exclusive or exclusive still. So
I mean, that's tough for me to answer because like I said, like, because this is definitely more on the artist side of it and just saying like, is this the best thing for me? I think if you're not doing if you're looking at the paperwork and it doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look crazy, like you're not giving up all of your like you're not giving up writer share or like, you know, depending on what the ownership is that you're giving. And even I'm a little bit green with this side of it because, you know, this is a totally different side of the business and just terms of like, I don't want to lead you down the wrong path, but I think if it's like a limited exclusivity as well, where it's like, hey, you know, we'll try it for like 18 months and they have a track record for doing these things, it might not be a bad thing to explore or at least consider, at least have a serious conversation about, because a lot of times the reason why it's hard for me to give this sort of advice is because you never know, like when something you just never know what's going to happen. Like this, like, cause it could be 18 months and nothing happens, or it could be 18 months and you get a ton of syncs and you know what I mean? And like your life changes. So
yeah,
it's really
I'm
hard.
like, it could be either or, which is why I'm just like, it could be really awesome, or it could just be like super anticlimactic. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. I won't like, I'm not going to say like, don't do it. I'm not going to give you, it's really like what you think might feel right. If you think like you've tried things and you're just like, okay, I feel like I've tried hustling and grinding and trying to get music to these people, but maybe if I get representation or if I get like a publisher or if I sign to like an indie pub or a one-stop that handles both sides of it for me and they do it for like a limited period, that might be something worth considering. Because we do talk to a lot of those people, like they're the ones that are pitching us. And a lot of reasons why we talk to them as well, and this is kind of for everybody, is because we know the music they're giving us is clearable. We know we're not going to be chasing you down or chasing down a clearance situation that we didn't know about. And you know, obviously you're hearing the patterns. I just need songs that we need songs that are clearable. Every music supervisor is going to tell you that. And so that's why a lot of times we do work closely with like indie, like small libraries or small publishers and whatnot. And especially for me, because I'm in the TV world, our budgets are very different than film. And it's faster. It's really fast in the TV world. Like, you know, it's like every week is just like, okay, we have these songs, we need to clear it. Are they clearable? And I always have my go-to people because I know it's going to clear. And so I think that if you have, like I said, if you're going to go to a company like that can do that for you on your behalf, might not be a bad thing. I'm not saying do it. It's gotta feel right. It's gotta, you know, the relationship has to be right, and the numbers have to look, you know, favorable for you as well because you're an independent artist. So, you know, I'd say for that's really going to be up to you if you think that's worth going down that route or not. So,
thank you. I appreciate the advice.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Thanks, Lottie. So unfortunately, we don't have time to answer everybody's questions, but you know, if you all do have more questions, then you can type them in the chat. If we see something and we have some time to answer, we can definitely answer. But we are going to go ahead and move on to the listening session. So for those of you who have been here, you know how we do it every single week. But for those of you who are new, every week we host a listening session. We'll play about a minute to minute and a half of of music that has been submitted, and we screen it beforehand so that we know it's relevant. So it's not like, you know, if we're listening to rap and R&B one week, we're not listening to country music. Although Wavy Baby makes some country music, so maybe, who knows, maybe we will be playing some country music one of these days. But basically what we're going to do, we're going to spend the next half hour just going through and playing different types of music. And Christian and I will give some of our feedback, and it's all subjective. So, you know, you can take it, you can leave it. Hopefully it's helpful. And if it's not, then, you know, deuces. But just kidding. So anyway, hopefully you all enjoy the music that is going to be played. So let me go ahead and just set everything up. And yes, Christian says send your questions here. So if you all have some additional questions, drop them in the chat and we'll try to answer them. And Christian, you can just, if you see something you're passionate and inspired by in the chat, just, you know, go ahead and throw out an answer. I think it'll be helpful for the community.
Yeah. No, apologies to those who had questions. I talked way too much. So like, just, I'll try my best to help you all out. My bad. I got too excited.
No, it's all good. Hopefully this is helpful. So first of all, just really quickly, we do this every week. If you all are enjoying the show and you're getting some value out of it, will you please unmute yourselves and give us a little woo woo? Cool. I'm telling y'all, one day I'm going to record all of this. I'm just going to put it in one long song, and that's what I'm going to play for the entire listening session. All right, cool. So I've got Wavy Baby set up first. So we'll go ahead and play. Let me actually just share my screen, share my sound. And everybody in the audience, also feel free to drop your feedback. I mean, obviously, you know, don't be too rude or too constructive in the group chat. But if you do have some feedback, feel free to drop it in the chat, because it's good for people to also know what people think about their music. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me just one moment. Share sound. All right, here we go. So we are starting off with Suzuki by Wavy Baby. Here we go.
Pull up on two like Suzuki. This shit ain't no movie. I put that thing on your top like Pizookie. But it ain't no cookie. Diamonds dancing, got your bitch tryna book me. I ball like a rookie. She wet and I'm drowning. Hold up, got that weed by the pound, nigga. Roll up. Money be the only mission. Blue faces like I'm crippin'. I ain't got time for no kissing. Bitch, I'm all about my business. Serving white balls to these niggas. Got me feeling like a pitcher. Make the money flip, nigga. You'd have thought I was a gymnast. You be fighting with the hoes. I ain't got time for the hoes. Do you see the difference? I don't compete with these niggas. I just put heat to these niggas and then make a killing. X tried to leave me for better, then found out she made an error. I know that she feel it. Bag me a baddie for pleasure. She think a nigga is precious. She gon' let me hit it. Woo. I got a lot to be grateful for. The same shit these niggas be hating on. I'm fucking the bitch that they dating on. She do what I say, she ain't saying no. Designer my shoe and designer clothes. I will not go back to being broke. Bitch, pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up.
Woo! Wavy.
Wait, where's Wavy Baby at? Okay. Do you have a clean version of this song?
I have a clean version of every song that I make. Shout out to my manager, Flo. Yes, clean versions for everything. That was actually going to be my question with the raised hand.
Yes, if you can, here, I'll send that to me. I like it a lot. And I think like it's, because that's one of the, like, okay, the reason why I like it, it moves, the mix is bomb. It's like, I love the way it's mixed. I like the way you deliver. And I hear that. I don't have the plugs like that, but it's like, that's one of the things where you hear in like an action movie or like a Marvel movie, right? And in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, like that's usable to me, especially for hip hop. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say like, oh, I can easily place that because, you know, like I said earlier, we have to deal with so many people. But for me personally, like that's a syncable song. You know what I mean? And so keep doing what you're doing first and foremost, and send that to me. Send
Thank
the
you.
Instrumental
Definitely.
and the clean version and all that. Like that's dope. I like that.
I really appreciate it. The feedback is amazing. So just thank you, everybody, for all the comments. I'm definitely going to check it out. Thank you, Christian. Thank you,
Yeah, of
guys.
course.
Thank you, Lexi.
It's clearable, right?
Yes, it's super clearable. Super clearable. It is ready. It's good to go. And
Cool.
yeah, and I'll have my manager send over everything. Flo's in here, so I know
No,
he's
nice
probably on it right now.
work. No, that's great work.
Awesome. Some of these
Thank
songs
you.
that are going to be played, by the way, Christian, not all of them are clearable yet. Some of these are going to be people who are working towards getting their music into sync, but Wavy, it sounds like you got it all on lock already.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and also, yeah, Wavy, I love that song. I heard it yesterday, so I was like, we're playing this. This is
good.
Thank you so much.
Cool. All right. Next up, we've got Swimming by Hedona, which is AKA Amanda. And Amanda, do you want to just introduce yourself really quickly?
Hey, yeah, so I am an artist and producer in Toronto. This is my debut single. So it starts out, thanks. It starts out a little slow and then it builds up. So, I mean, within the first minute, which is probably all that's going to be played, it's a little mellow, but it does gradually build up.
Awesome. Cool. So this is Swimming by Hedona.
I got a swimming pool, too afraid to take the plunge. Diving is dangerous. I don't like getting wet. Sharks wait for me in the deep. I let them have me when it's time to go to sleep. I got a swimming pool, not ready for the fall. I got a swimming pool, but I can't move off the ledge. Mermaids sing to me, they beckon me too close. One touch and I'm pulled underneath. Maybe it's time for me to finally go to sleep. I got a swimming pool, I'm lost in the abyss. It was death by drowning. It was death by drowning. Drowning. It was death by drowning.
And I'm going to pause here, but I'm also going to skim
like
it
that.
a little bit because Amanda has different types of sounds throughout it. So I'm just going to skim it a little bit so that we can hear different parts of it too.
I'm digging the vibe, by the way.
Beautiful down here. I'm at peace.
All right. That's just to give you a little taste of it.
You can put that in a movie. That's amazing. Great work. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that, especially that huge drop at the end. Oh my God, that's huge.
Thank you so much.
Amanda was so nervous to put this out and finally got it out after, I don't know, what is it, 9 months or so?
Congrats.
I'm like shaking.
Love it. That, no, somebody who's Don Piece, Bond vibe, that's giving me James Bond vibes too. That's
Wow.
cool. I like that. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, Amanda, that was awesome. I'm so proud of you. So congratulations on your first release. I know how nervous you were from the very first day that you ever spoke to me. Now, Amanda had gotten onto a call. She's a part of our VIP program, and Amanda had gotten on the call and she was like, I'm worried about putting out my music. I'm like, you got to put out your music now.
Yeah, better just put it out. Don't hold on to it.
Yeah, this is awesome. Congrats,
No,
Amanda.
Yeah, congrats. That's amazing work.
Cool. All right, next up, we've got Vivian's from Chris, who got, or Heating Up by Chris Vivian's. Chris, are you still here?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm on here.
What's up, Chris? I know you introduced yourself, but do you want to tell us about the song really quick?
Yeah. So this is a single for my new album that I'm putting out on my birthday, which is October the 12th. And really my idea behind this was to make something for people training or in the gym, really working out. And so let's get into it. Hope that you enjoy Heating Up.
Cool. All right, here we go.
It was August 2020, had no money in my bank account. Ducking, dodging COVID, me and Jordan, we just got a house. No idea how I'm paying rent, but we gon' make it out. I'm stressing about the stimmy, it ain't coming, shit, we starving now. September the 2nd, got a call up on my mama now. Said she going through it, what the f, you in Ohio now? Never working, hella drinking on the weekends. Had to cut ties to my friends, they playing defense. Can't do bad vibes, they came out your biggest strength, your weakness. Look them in their eyes, angels with the demons, I just had it going push aside. You say on the table, empty bottles had me lost inside. Running up and down while I'm on the court. I've been going hard 4 seasons, had it coming force. Yeah, it's clear, then you see what's really up. I just had to show 'em, now I'm really heating up. I'm just heating up, I'm just heating up. Yeah, got it out the mud, now we heating up. I'm just heating up, I'm just heating up. Tear to my eyes, I can't lie, no. I'm just heating up, heating up. Yeah, they look at y'all when they know it's us. Yeah, see, I'm just heating up. Yeah, see, I'm just heating up. Shit was hella different.
There. What do you think, Christian?
As somebody said, NBA, somebody beat me to it. That's NBA 2K written all over. Like, oh man, yeah, no, that's sick. I like it a lot. I like the ad libs. I like the like I said, the movement. It was moving, and like the other thing too is, I mentioned before how like sometimes the beat can stay static and everything, but if your voice is also moving the beat along, that's another thing to also keep in mind too. And I think it was great work. I like that a lot actually. And it's syncable too, because it's called Heating Up. Like a lot of times when you have like the title in there too, it's like great, that's perfect. Like those are things that we can use too when we're syncing stuff. It's like sometimes it's like to the point, like you can see a whole montage being played over a montage or whatnot. So good work on that one.
Thank
Chris,
you. Thank
do you have a music video for this already?
No, but I just did I just did one of my friends, he's a professional boxer. We just did his whole training camp, and this was like the song. He wanted to use the song for his training camp. And so I didn't shoot a video for this yet. It is
But
also
you're gonna have some visuals for it, right?
Absolutely, yes. I'm gonna definitely do a video for it.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. I'm excited to see the visuals. I'm a big visual person, and actually maybe we should start doing this a little bit more as we used to do music videos. It just took a little bit longer. But Chris, next time you have a music video, let us see it. We got to see it.
Sure thing. And also it's good to go. It's cleared. It's ready to go. I got everything knocked out. It's one of my favorite beats that I've ever made. So hope you enjoy.
I'll just drop my hold up. Give you guys I'm gonna drop a link for my disco. So for all of you, that's another thing. For those of you, like, disco is it's a site where you can actually upload. So a lot of times, a lot of you supervisors use it. They might give you like a link. You can sign up for it, but a lot of times it's more so you can submit through there if you have a direct link from somebody. So we use that a lot, and I'll drop mine in so you guys can like send me stuff and everything. So yeah.
Nice, cool.
Like Wavy, Hedona, Chris, like y'all can send like all this stuff to me too. So yeah, just saying,
Perfect. And Lottie has a discount link. Lottie is the disco discount dealer.
How did you know I was just about to go? I'm screaming. You know me too well, because I literally was like typing that up. I'm crying. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat. You're so funny. Me and Alexi right here. We're here.
Cool. All right, everyone. Next up, I'm actually going to switch over to SoundCloud really quick because we're going to play a song with your pathos. Oh, sorry, Lottie. You're up after.
No, you're good. You're good. Do your thing.
Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it up to be on SoundCloud really quick. Let me just switch it up. Hold up. I gotta share my screen. Here we go. And we're going to try to get through these quickly. So if I don't give you all a chance to, like introduce yourselves, feel free to drop information in the chat. And just as a reminder, always screenshot, if you're one of the artists, screenshot the little chat so you can keep in touch with the people who loved your music. But this is going to be Beauty by Brother Pathos. And this is going to be significantly slower than some of the songs that we played. So just as a precursor. Hold on. I got you, Brother Pathos. Here we go.
You're good.
Pause it there. What do you think, Christian?
That needs to go, and that's a film composer right there. So that's film composer territory. You need to be doing whole projects, and yeah, I love it. That's great. I love the build. I love the vocals were amazing. That's definitely like film score stuff right there, level stuff, and that stuff is and that's a whole other lane you can do is doing film scoring and composing, and that right there sounds great.
Yeah, thank you so much. I did that in about 45 minutes. So,
man, it's taken me a long time to do that. Great work. No, seriously, great work, Larry. Like, yeah, man, you might need to go in the film composer territory, man.
And my music partner, man, he's like, hey, I got this progression. It's like, do something with it. So he wrote it down on paper. So I took it off
we
paper.
gotta get you to Hans Zimmer. That's crazy.
Hans Zimmer, man. Yeah. I've spoken with James Newton Howard before, but
oh my God.
Oh yeah, but and got to meet him once. So
Larry's music is so good. Like Larry has some of his music on. You have some of your music on Spotify, but this one isn't on Spotify, right, Larry?
No, it was just SoundCloud. It's the quickest one I can upload to. So, and for Spotify, I have to go through DistroKid. And it takes a while. So,
right.
Yeah, but everything's on Spotify. Everything is on SoundCloud if you want to go listen to it all today. So, and I do have a Discord profile. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great work. Thanks you for sharing that. Like that was some movie film stuff right there.
Oh yeah, man.
Awesome. So next up we have, we've got Wine Williams by Linda Maye. Linda, are you still in the building? Linda?
I am here.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Let me just find it really quick. Here we go. All right. I'm gonna play.
I'm not playing hard to get, making up excuses.
imagination. I'd rather see my lady, so take another picture. Don't wanna be your baby, just use your imagination. I'd rather see my lady, so take another picture. Don't wanna be your baby, you want me to spell it out. You got it all confused. Don't wanna be your baby, no need to be distracted. I'm looking out for myself, no exception. Don't wanna be your baby, just use your imagination.
All right, I'm gonna pause it there. Ooh, Linda, that's groovy.
Oh, I was loving that. I was loving that.
Yeah, that was good.
That's
Linda,
the stuff I'd want to sing in my life. You know what I mean? I've like my dream project is to do like a rom-com where I could just put like a bunch of 90s stuff and was like and stuff that sounds like that. Like, yeah, I love that. That was great. Nice work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Linda, have you been on our calls before? I'm not sure. We have so many people. I try to remember all of you. Have you been on?
I have once.
Oh, I recognize you. Okay, I see. Now I see your face. I recognize your face. Well,
Yes.
welcome back. Welcome back.
I think my main issue is trying to find someone who can help me mix it the way I want it mixed. So that's been my issue. But yeah, I really want to try to go this route.
Sounded great.
We definitely have some engineers in the building. So if you're an engineer, drop your ads. That way everyone can follow you. But Linda, that's awesome. I was listening to that this morning. I was like,
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I have an old EP with this vibe, so hoping to release that soon.
Awesome. Thank you
I
for
was
sharing.
loving that, Linda. Yeah, thank you. That's like the stuff that, like I said, I might have to play that back on repeat again. So send that over to me.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Cool. All right. So next up, we have got Heaven on Earth by TK. And I'm going to try rushing through these because I know we still got a good amount of them. So this is Lottie's artist, TK.
I need an escape from real life. Maybe I'll find it someday. Like it's 1945 and the street lights dance like lightning again. I can never get away from it. I never get a break from this. Searching for the daylight inside when I fall asleep at night. In the valley of broken hearts, is the sign you were hoping for. There's a flower the hills are lost. Gives the power to feel it all. Well, I just wanted to feel alive. I just wanna be free tonight. Yeah, I wanna see it all. Oh, love. And I found you this time. Baby, so do you wanna do heaven on earth? Heaven on earth said, do you wanna do heaven on earth? Heaven on earth said, do you wanna do heaven on earth? Heaven on earth said, do you wanna do heaven on earth? Baby, just
All right. What do you think, Christian?
Yeah, that was a pop banger. That was dope. I like the drop too. That's the kind of thing that I'm just like, just right and then pop, and then just like the groove was good.
Thank you.
The mix was good too. I mean, if I'm gonna get technical, I love the mix. I love that way it sounded.
Thank
Voice
you.
was
He
good.
wrote it, he recorded it, he mixed it, he produced it himself. So it's really all him.
Oh, that's amazing. No, amazing. I love that. That was great. I wasn't ready for that drop either.
Yeah, no, that's what everyone said. It's so funny.
No,
Yeah.
that was solid. Nice work. Nicely done.
Thank
love
you.
It's so cute. It's such a cute song too.
Yeah.
You could even
No,
have
it's
that
really
in like
Paw
adorable.
Patrol.
A
You
lot
put
of
on
his
Paw
music
Patrol
is
or
super
something.
cute.
I know that's what I was thinking. I was like, you could put this in some kind of animation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. No, that's great. I love that.
Thanks, Lottie. And Lottie, this is One Stop.
Oh yeah, totally. It's all in Disco. Everything's in there. So I could send you the link for all his shit right now. Yeah.
Dope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's Heaven on Earth by TK. Next up, we've got Come Home by, actually, let me just make sure I'm on the right track. I've got, next up, we have got Come Home by Riza. All right.
I'm trying to see the space, don't wanna stand in place. I'm trying to do the most, and then I'm going ghost. Just come home while you always outside. Where'd you go? Just come home while you always outside. Where'd you go? I'm trying to see the space, don't wanna stand in place. I'm trying to do the most, and then I'm going ghost. Just come home while you always outside. Where'd you go? Just come home while you always outside. Where'd you go? Early morning I was meditating, then I ran into my past life. Tongue sharper than my knife. Focus on some pussy, boy, you better get your act right. Better get some money for you desperate and take that flight. I've been acting up. Folly movement had you cruising, stuck in your resentment. Cement the problems, leave you frozen here in your decision. Thinking about all of the ways that you could do shit different, but habits keep you in a cycle, gotta learn resistance. Just understand this shit is a man, it's not always clean, but must take a stand. Respect for yourself, a part of demand. The power itself is there in your hand. Just take a deep breath, come back to the land.
Pause it there. Christian, what do you think?
Digging it. I love the delivery. I love the beat. I love the like I said, it didn't. I think it's funny because like I was mentioning earlier about how it's moving, and a lot of times, you know, rappers a lot of times like the whole mumble rap movement where it's just like no, it's just a straight line. And I like I said, I'm a huge fan of dynamics, so I like that. I really enjoyed that, especially and it was a more laid back tone. And yeah, no, it's definitely, especially when I was listening to it, I was like, oh man, that just sounds like something you put when somebody's like kind of like walking through the city or something like that, or walking through a park and being reflected. Like those are solid track. I really like that. And good work on the mix too. The mix was good.
Thank you. My good friend of mine actually helped him build his studio back in like late 2019, 2020, and we recorded like this whole project in there, and he did the mix and mastering for everything. So yeah, it's a good song to me because built the whole studio, then got to create a whole project in there and bring it to life.
No least beats, Riza.
This is
no
not a least
beats.
Nice. Least beats
Everything
are
in
okay
this
for getting
project
your
is
hustle
all
and getting your
exclusively owned
money.
by
I'll
me.
say that. Yeah. No, go do the least route if you're getting your money, getting your paper, and trying to get your stuff out there for sure. But when it comes to the sync part, we ideally don't want to do least beats. So.
Nice. Cool. All right. Thanks, Riza. Next
Thank
up,
you.
we've got Halfway by Alan. Alan, are you still here? Yes, I see you. Cool. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Baby, my love's a two-way lane. You only get what you give. So don't come my way if you ain't ready to live. I'll meet you halfway. I'll give just as much as been here before. I know how it feels, yeah. I know how to move, yeah. I ain't giving more.
Oh, I'm gonna pause it there, but I'm glad that we got a little bit of the switch up there. Cool. Wow, Alan, was that you singing?
That was me singing, indeed.
Wow,
Nice
you
work.
have a great voice.
I appreciate that. Thanks for all love in the chat, y'all.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, as somebody had already said, like, that's definitely something you put in the love scene. Like, that's plug and play.
For sure. Yeah, my
Nice
whole
work.
idea writing that song and just a lot of the music I make is to have that kind of cinematic like feel to it. So I think the whole, sync thing could work well in a scene like that. So
For sure. And I like the way your pads and everything in the back was moving and
Mhm.
pumping a little bit. I don't know if you were side chaining or putting a flanger or something on that, but
Yeah,
that was
a little bit.
No, that was well done. I like that. It
I
definitely
appreciate
added
that.
to the whole feel of everything. So good work. Good work. Keep it up.
Appreciate that, man.
Alan, I was imagining being behind a window and it's raining outside. One of those scenes.
You want to get to Bay, you're just stuck. Yeah, I feel that.
Come back. Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And we're excited to interview on IG Live soon too. So cool. That was Halfway by Alan.
Thanks, y'all.
Next up, we have, I think we're going to switch it up really quick to do Stumble by Kingston, who's also known as GK. So let me just switch this to SoundCloud, or I think it's Dropbox. 1 second. Here we go. And here we go. All right. This is a completely different vibe. And Kingston does kind of lean towards the country feel. So we are switching it up here, but here we go.
I'm thinking, switching my drinking to a neat Southern whiskey. But I bet that's what you'd be sipping on tonight. I couldn't get your lips off this broke shot glass kiss if I get into whiskey tonight. So I shot a fun Jaeger, 'cause I felt some aches hurt. I can't feel that no more. And I shot some tequila with a lovely senorita, but I only shot twice. Then I slipped outside, thought about calling you, but I wanna give you space just like you wanted to. So I'll just catch you later. I'm gonna get so drunk tonight, wine's too kind for me.
All right, I'm gonna pause it there. Christian, thoughts?
Now I was digging that. It's so funny because I was actually like looking for Chris Stapleton sounding stuff like recently. And like that country vibe, like slow, just waltzy, like that's actually a good song. And the sound it's in and of itself too is definitely something even in like the film you were like totally usable. So good work on that.
Nice. Yeah, Kingston, I don't know
Hello?
if you jumped back in.
Yeah, where are you at?
I'm here. I'm in Los Angeles.
Nice
Actually,
work.
I started. Oh, thank you. Really appreciate that. I started a new songwriting class today at UCLA Extension, and so I just walked out the hallway. And if I get a demerit, so what?
No, that's great.
But
And
thank you for
I love the way it sounded too, like sonically too, because it had a raw feeling to it as well. Like it wasn't super polished or anything. I don't know if that was the approach you're going, but I liked that.
Thank you. Actually, that was a live mixed and mastered performance at the Hotel Cafe in July. And I
nice.
got the track back from the studio. And my goal is to license my music in TV and film. So
nice
Yeah,
I
work. I like
appreciate
that.
your review.
We've been waiting for Kingston to get his music up, recorded for the longest time. Kingston has been a part of our community since the beginning, or almost the beginning, but he's been a part of the community and has been playing his music live. So just recently he started recording. So Kingston, we're so grateful to be able to hear your progression.
Thank you. I'm grateful. It's just been a great journey with Finesse, and you helped get me through the pandemic.
Awesome.
No,
cool.
That was amazing. Great work. Great work. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Next up, we've got one of our very own, Who is Azar, is actually managed by Finesse Media. And this is Tang Wu.
You just keep your nose out of this.
Right now, it's my business.
Oh, is that so? Then I'll kill you.
Pause it there. Christian, you can tell me if it sucks.
No, I was digging the vibe. I was waiting for it to keep. I loved it. I was loving the rhythm guitar. I said in the chat. I was just like, oh, I'm vibing to this right now. Yeah. No, I love the rhythm guitar on that one.
Yeah,
I was waiting for some vocals. I was like, oh, I'm ready for somebody to get over that. That sounded good.
So Who's Azar? He actually he used to be a hip hop producer. So he was producing for like Casanova and TJ Porter and Chinese Kitty. And then he switched over to lo-fi. And then now he's recently switched over to doing more like alternative, kind of like Mac DeMarco vibes. So
yeah. Oh man. Yeah. No, that's definitely giving me those vibes. Definitely sunny. Makes me want to go outside right now.
Yeah.
Be in the sun. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like how I want to start my day. Listen to something like that.
Yeah. Cool. So
that's actually
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Follow him on TikTok, everybody. He's trying to get big on TikTok. So that's Who is Azar.
Oh, nice work.
Cool. So last but not least, so we're going to switch back over to SoundCloud. We've got DJ Flassie in the building with Fighter. And DJ Flassie, are you still here? She had to take a call.
Yeah, I have to go into my office, but it's okay.
Okay, cool. So,
look at the cover. That cover is serious right there.
Yeah.
I'm loving that.
DJ Flassie, by the way, everybody, is actually a dentist. So hence DJ Flassie. And DJ Flassie or Jessica, I'm really excited for everybody to hear this, because I think your progression from when you first start with us to now is really incredible. So this is Fighter by DJ Flassie.
Spiraling, I'm out of
pause it there. That was last but not least, Fighter by DJ Flassie. Woo!
Damn, that drop. I was not ready for that. I felt it coming. I felt the bell, and it came. I was like, "Woo!" That's that almost can go into a trailer right there. Like just that drop part. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, Jessica, this is so incredible. It's really cool to also see, because I know, DJ Flassie actually started as a VIP member of Finesse Media, and we usually work with a lot of R&B and hip hop artists. So one of my friends, Elaine Huang, she runs her own platform called Neon Owl, which is very similar to what we do, but more so on the EDM and pop side. So Jessica switched over to the Neon Owl fam, well, still part of the Finesse fam, but just the increase in like quality has been really incredible to see. So yeah, really great stuff. I love this.
No, vocals and the production, great job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it looks like everyone else is vibing to it. So that was
big.
Yeah. That's something like in the club, when you listen to music, this is where everybody is like.
Yes. I was at a throwback, like 2010s throwback thing recently. I was like, oh, that would have, like that, just that thumping sound. I like that. Nice work.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much, DJ Flassie. And Flassie, where are you located again?
LA.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm actually a dentist. I have to go see a patient.
Oh my God, that's even more amazing too. You have time to do like stuff that sounds like that, and you gotta go and have patients. like, oh my gosh, props to you.
Yeah, incredible. Cool. Well, thank you so much, DJ Flassie, for sharing. We'll let you go to, hang out with your patients. But this is awesome. What did everybody think of the music? If you liked it, give us a little raise the roof if you liked it. Woo woo.
Hold up. So here, I'm putting my email. So that's my email. You guys can send stuff to that. And then, yes. So if you send me anything, any links right there, please be clearable. So, and it's hard. I will say this, and I want to stress this too for any of you that are reaching out to any music supervisor, any coordinator. We get so many emails that if you don't hear anything back, it's not a bad thing. It's not something to take it personal. And I'm just kind of saying on behalf of the people that do that, because we get so inundated with with so many emails, and we are trying to listen to all the music that does get sent. I definitely try to do my best to listen to all the music that comes through, especially because people are spending the time or taking the time to send it over. So just know that that's not no response it's not a bad thing. It just sometimes means that it's not ready for that moment, if that makes sense. Because I've definitely gotten music, and just to kind of round out the conversation that Alexa and I are having, was art, it's subjective. I went up to bat for songs that I was like, this needs to be in there, only to get shot down and made me feel like I shouldn't even be doing this job. You know what I mean? And it's because like I said, I DJ'd and I'm on the artist side as well, just doing production. And I think it's important to know that you just be consistent, be persistent as well, and don't feel like just because somebody says one thing that means the same for another. I've been in rooms where we've had arguments even just about who's the better composer. You know what I mean? And for two established people for a project that clearly they could both do it, and they're like, well, I don't like how this person does this or that, and it's just sometimes I stay back, I'm like, wow, I would have, when these people that I go up to bat for, these songs that I really love, it's at the mercy of some random person saying yes or no. That's it. And I know that's really simplifying the work that we do, but sometimes I've had situations where I've had songs, all the songs that I heard today, I could probably pitch for certain things, specific scenes, right? We heard something like a badass scene, a love scene, a memorable scene, melancholic, and all these different things. I could pitch these songs 100%. However, I have bosses that I have to give these to that will say, doesn't sound like, whatever. Doesn't sound like George Michael. Doesn't sound like, and they'll give me some reference they listened to in high school. And I think it's important to just know, as an artist, as a creator, keep creating, don't get worried if something doesn't work out. Sometimes it's like it might not work for that moment, but that doesn't mean it can't work down the line. And so I think it's just an important thing to remember, because I like I said, I do music too as well. I do it for fun, and there's moments where I'm like, oh, I could probably, I feel like this beat would work here, but I mean, who knows? It's just the showrunner has to like it, the director has to like it, the producers have to like it. We have these conversations with the biggest artists as well, where they we're all in a room saying like, well, why are we, like, we want Olivia Rodrigo, we want Taylor Swift or something like that. And even then we're like, these are like cream of the crop people. And they're just like, yeah, we're not doing that. And then they're just like on to the next idea. And it's that simple sometimes. So all to say is don't give up. Please do not quit. Please keep doing your art. Do it for yourself first. And then, like if it's ready for the world, then it will be. Somebody will hear it and somebody will think it's dope. And a sync can change everything sometimes. You know what I mean? So just, I just want to keep that in mind too, because I know sometimes like this sync world is almost like the lottery sometimes, where when there's a lot of steps it takes. It's not as easy. Like a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, if I give Christian a song, Christian like that means he can get it in there. I really do wish it was that simple. And I thought that before I got into this job. I did think that it was as easy as saying like, I like this song, put that there. And I was immediately corrected, and I realized how wrong I was, because you are in a room with so many other people. If we all said right now, I'm like, hey guys, I have a scene, an action scene. Everybody please find a song for that one scene. We're all gonna fight for what that song should be, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing in those rooms. We're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to be like, hey, this song works, this song doesn't, you know what I mean? So don't be discouraged at all. Like, keep doing your thing, keep working at your craft. And, if, like I said, if it's great, if it works for a scene and timing is everything, like, shoot, you never know. So keep that in mind. I'd also say another little piece too. Sorry, Lexi, I'm keeping everybody here.
No, you're good.
Music supervisors for sure, music coordinators, reach out to these people, like slide in the DMs, reach out to them on LinkedIn and stuff. And don't like be persistent, but don't always follow up with these people, because like they're constantly working. So if you don't hear back, don't worry about it. You'll hear back if it works for something, right? If they hear your stuff and they're like, all right, I'll check it out, and they don't hear back from for a while, you never know. Like a year or two down, they're like, hey, that song you sent me works for this now, and then you never know. But I will also say, I thought about this the other day, was music editors. So if if like get to know music editors too. And because the reason is like we deal with music editors all the time, and we have sometimes music editors will also they'll temp stuff in. Like if they're just like, hey, I have this cut, can you check this out? Can you check out this scene and tell me what you think? And sometimes they'll find a song too, and they'll temp some songs in there. So if you know music editors in the business, or reach out to them, like that's also another way that could possibly help like get your music, seen and into the ears of somebody else, or in a room that you would never thought your music could get into. So like, don't discount that. And so it's like for all the producers out there, like this is almost the equivalent of reach out to the engineer versus the main producer or whatever like that. Or, it's reaching out to like, who's in the studio, you know what I mean? So it's like that kind of thing too. It's that sort of hustle. So I would say don't discount that. And just like keep creating, keep doing your thing. And I think like one way or another, things you'll be surprised. There's all different types of things, right? There's ads, there's social media, there's stuff, TikTok. Like sync isn't just film and TV. So don't like also pigeonhole yourself to thinking like it has to be film and TV. There's a lot of ways to make money in the business. So don't discount your talent and your art, because it should be heard. So yeah.
Yeah, and if you do submit anything to Christian and say my name, if you say my name or you say Finesse Media, make sure it's clearable, because don't make me look that. No, I'm just kidding. But everybody, well, kind of. So everybody, thank you everyone for coming. And yes, to answer DV's Phyllis's question about will there be more licensing sync Zoom calls? Yes, absolutely. We actually have one on October 22nd. We're going to continue doing more and more calls like this. But I hope everyone enjoyed. Christian, you're the bomb.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're like,
I know, I appreciate it. I wish I could have sent a song in now. I was like, I want to be like with everybody else.
Oh, you should have submitted one of your songs.
I should actually. Here, I'm gonna give you. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I think I have a beat that doesn't have anything cleared. Hold on, 1 second. Wait, Alexa, tell me if this song works. Here, hold on, I'm gonna send it to you directly.
Okay, let me
Where
see.
you at?
All right.
Tell me
You
the drop box.
you all have to give us like another second just so that we can listen to Christian's music.
Yeah, let me see. Now, you guys all inspire me. I'm like, oh, I wish I said some stuff, man.
Wait, I can't open it. Maybe you can play it on your end here. I'll give you I'm gonna
Hold
give
on.
you share screen capabilities really quick.
Hold
But in
on.
the meantime, while Christian's getting that set up, I just want to drop just like let everybody know what we have coming up. So next week we have our VIP community workshop. So if you are a VIP membership or you're part of our VIP membership, then we're going to do something more personalized for all of you. And then the week after, we're doing, we might do a sync event. We're also thinking about maybe doing like a music video event. We're still on the fence about what's going to be the week after. But then the week after that, for folks who are in New York City, we have the Digilog Day, and I'll be speaking. So we're going to support our family there. And then the 22nd will be our next music sync event. So just to keep in touch with us, like if you have questions about events, we post them on our website. And is anyone in New York? Raise your hand if you're in New York City. Yeah, some of you are in New York. So if any of you are in New York, we have an event tomorrow in the Lower East Side, and I'm going to be speaking with Bose, who is a really talented EDM artist, and then we also have Mehdi, Emil Damore, who's he's a multi-platinum record producer, and we have a lot of cool people that are going to be speaking. So if anyone would like to attend, I have a few guest lists, and if you don't get on my guest list, then I also have a VIP code. So got you. Cool. Christian, you have a song?
Wait, does this work? Hold on. How do I?
You got to share
my
screen,
God.
and then you got to click share sound on the bottom left-hand corner.
Oh, shoot. 1 second. Well, I'm like holding everybody up. Maybe we don't do this. I was like, you guys can, y'all can judge me. Hold on. Let me see if this will work.
Christian's music is going to be the worst. It's going to sound like it was mixed in.
I know. Hold on. Let me email it to you. Let me see if this works. Hold on. I'm curious what people think about this now. Now that I have a bunch of ears that are not my friends.
I want to see if you can do it. Come on, Christian.
Yeah, let me see. The pressure is on. Watch this.
The pressure is on.
This stuff is so whack. Hold on.
Yeah, give us just a second.
Anybody have any other questions while I think?
Yeah, if anyone has any other questions really quick, we can answer them. Anyone want to ask anything? No? Alonso, what's up, Alonso? We missed you.
I miss you too. It's been a while.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I guess while Christian's hustling, wanted to ask Christian, what kind of albums and producers have you been listening to in general the last few years? What are your go-to records?
Let's see. I that's such a hard question. Okay, so I'm not the don't get mad at me. I'm not the biggest Beyonce fan. However, her last album was amazing and I really liked it. I'm a sucker for dance music, so I always like that stuff. I will speak specifically to Beyonce. Her first album is still my favorite, Dangerously in Love. But as far as when I heard that, her new one, I was like, oh man, this is amazing. And I think it's just because it's so nostalgic. But there's another album that I really like by Sunny Cologne. I think it's called Juju and the Flower Bug. But that's another album that I really like. I've been listening to, who else do I like? Raven Lenae is good. I've liked a lot of the female R&B stuff that's been coming out lately. Her, Money Long, a lot of those. I'm a sucker for R&B music, as you all know at this point. I can't speak enough about it. But yeah, that stuff, I love that stuff a lot. Brent Faiyaz, a lot of his stuff is amazing. Steve Lacy, I love his stuff. I was very, and this is something for all of the creators in here, I was very lucky to meet Steve he had an album listening for the new one, Gemini Rights. Had a chance to go to it and meet him. And I've been a fan of Steve Lacy since he was doing SoundCloud stuff. So, he was on the internet and whatnot, but he had a song on the internet's ego death call. It was the last one called Curse. And I don't know if those of you guys can follow it. So he wrote that song, and I asked him about it. I was like, dude, I've loved you since you made Curse. And I remember hearing that, and I'm like, who did this? And he told me at that time, and this came out in 2014 or something like that. He said, after I made that song, I thought I was never going to be able to make anything ever good again. we had a conversation. He goes, I remember when I wrote that, he said, I have nothing left. I feel like there's nothing I'll ever make is going to be better than that. And now fast forward to today, he's like what, #2, almost at #1 on the Billboard for Bad Habit. So it's like, that just goes to say, like, it's timing, it's luck, yes, but like you have to just keep going at it and don't give up. Because I told him, I was like, man, you've done so much since Curse, but I still remember that one song. And so I just remember when he told me that, I was like, man, yeah, you just never know. You just never know when that stuff will hit, and when it does, it will be great, you know. So that's what. Anyways, yeah, those are some of the people that I've been listening to lately. And then of course I listen to like 90s R&B all the time. So yeah.
Cool. I do have the song queued up in the background, so I'm gonna go ahead and
oh my god,
share my screen. And actually, let me not open up my entire email for all of you to see. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay. Share screen.
Oh, it has a sample and it's not cleared. You can't even take my own advice. I'm not pitching it though. I'm not pitching it. This is just for fun.
Hypocrite. All right, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna share my sound really quick. All right, here we go.
Lexi, you get the picture. You don't have to bore everybody with the rest of the song. Okay.
I was grooving. I was imagining being on the beaches of Miami.
Oh, thank you. Aldo.
Someone said Gold Link. I for sure heard Gold Link on that.
Yeah.
That was a good suggestion, suggestive name. Gold Link for sure.
I appreciate that. I like Gold Link. Gold Link is sick.
Yeah, I like
anyways,
that.
Yeah, no. Keep creating, keep doing your thing, you know. Thank you all for listening. Roll the credits.
Cool. Christian, I like that a lot. I thought that was cool.
Oh, thank you. It's a Brazilian, it's a Brazilian sample, but yeah.
Oh, I love Brazilian music. Like
the bass was awesome, by the way. I love the bass.
Thank you. I know I want to make it funky, so yeah.
Cool. All right, y'all. We are way over time, but you know the vibe. We love you here, and we're so grateful for the Finesse fam. So I hope y'all had a good time. We'll see you. If you're not a part of our VIP program, then we'll see you in 2 weeks. If you are, then hopefully we'll see you next week. And keep us posted. If there are things that you want to learn more about and see in our programming, then let us know. But we are really excited to, continue supporting the indie artist community. But thank you, Christian, and everybody. Just give us one more woo woo.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for the time.
Right.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Christian, my brother from another mother. I will see you soon.
Oh, you already know. I'll see you soon. Yeah. Karaoke time. All right, let's go.
All right.